Have you ever felt like a ship lost in a storm, tossed by waves of pain you can't control? You look at the empty sky and the raging sea, and the question tears from your soul. Why me? It's a question steeped in anguish, in confusion, in a deep sense of injustice. You feel broken, wondering if this ache you carry will ever leave, or if you're simply fated to carry its weight forever, a silent passenger in your own life. But what if I told you that inside that very storm, there is a hidden compass? Not a tool to magically calm the waves, but one to navigate them. A way of seeing your darkest moments so powerful that it doesn't just help you survive. It helps you become who you were always meant to be. Stay with me, because you're about to discover the profound secret that Viktor Frankl used to find light in absolute darkness, and how that same secret can liberate you from the suffering you thought would be your end. We are all born into a world that teaches us the same fundamental lie about suffering. We're taught that pain is a mistake, a glitch in the system of a happy life, a sign that we've failed, that we've done something wrong, or that we simply aren't strong enough. We see it as an enemy to be conquered. So, when pain inevitably arrives at our doorstep, our first instinct is a panicked scramble to fight it, to numb it, to bury it, to run. We scroll through our phones for hours. We binge watch entire seasons. We throw ourselves into work with a frantic energy, anything to build a wall between ourselves and what we feel. Our entire culture is built on distraction from this fundamental human experience. We ask, how do I escape this? Believing that happiness is a destination that lies on the other side of avoidance. But Viktor Frankl, a brilliant psychiatrist who was plunged into the unimaginable horrors of the Nazi concentration camps, discovered a truth that turns our modern thinking completely on its head. In the space of a heartbeat, he was stripped of everything a person could value: his distinguished career, his loving family, his life's research, his freedom, and ultimately even his own name, reduced to a mere number. Yet it was there, in the barren landscape of total loss, that he saw what we, in our comfort, so often miss. He saw that suffering wasn't an obstacle to a meaningful life. It was the very gateway to it. Pain, he came to realize, isn't a question of if, but how. How will we meet it? Frankl famously wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Suffering, from this radical perspective, isn't a dead end. It is a profound, soul-shaking invitation. The ultimate challenge isn't to get rid of the pain, but to listen to it, to lean into it, and to discover the sacred purpose it's trying to reveal within us. Think about a moment that brought you to your knees, a devastating loss that left a gaping hole in your life, a betrayal that shattered your trust, a failure that made you question your own worth. In that raw, quiet, and terrifying space, the noise of the world finally fades. The trivial things that once consumed you, status, social media validation, other people's opinions, the endless pursuit of more, they burn away like fog in the bright morning sun. What's left in that stark clarity is only what is real: your breath, your heartbeat, the love you feel, the grief you carry. This is the strange alchemy of suffering. It is a crucible. Its intense heat melts away the non-essential, the masks we wear, the false identities we cling to. It shows you what truly matters. Frankl watched as men and women who had lost everything, their homes, their wealth, their status, discovered the one thing that could never be taken away. This led to his most revolutionary insight, a truth that is the bedrock of human resilience. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a person, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms: to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." Let that sink in. Between what happens to you and how you react to it, there is a space, a pause. In that space lies your power. In that space is your freedom and your growth. It is in the fire that you find the part of you that cannot be burned. It is in the flood that you find the part of you that cannot be drowned. Most of us believe that pain only has value if we can conquer it and put it behind us. But Frankl's insight is far deeper, far more transformative. Pain becomes bearable, even meaningful, not when it ends, but when we give it a purpose. In the camps, he observed a startling phenomenon. The survivors were often not the most physically robust, but those who clung desperately to a reason to live. A why. For one man, it was the image of his wife, waiting for him. For another, it was a series of scientific books he needed to finish. For some, it was as simple and profound as the desire to see one more sunrise with dignity. Meaning doesn't erase the pain. It doesn't make the suffering pleasant. What it does is give you the strength to carry it. It reframes the experience. As Frankl so powerfully stated, he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. This isn't about plastering on a fake smile or repeating empty affirmations. It is about asking a braver, deeper question. What is this suffering asking me to become? What strength, what virtue, what part of my soul is this pain forging within me? Think of it this way. Pain without a purpose is just a meaningless wound. It festers, it infects our spirit, it leads to bitterness and despair. But pain that is imbued with purpose becomes a scar, and a scar is a testament to healing. A scar tells a story of survival, of resilience, of a battle fought and endured. And here is something beautiful and paradoxical that no one tells you about that process. The person who emerges from that fire is never the same one who walked in. When you have faced down the very thing you thought would destroy you, you gain a quiet, unshakable power that a life of protected comfort can never bestow. You become a lighthouse for others who are lost in their own storms. Not because you have all the easy answers. In fact, you know for certain that there are none. You become a beacon because your eyes hold a deep, knowing understanding. You speak the language of loss. You know the texture of grief. You can sit with someone in their darkness without needing to fix it because you've learned that presence is more powerful than platitudes. Frankl believed that suffering, when met with courage and open eyes, carves out a greater capacity within us for love, for forgiveness, for profound compassion. It makes you humble enough to ask for help and strong enough to offer it. It makes you wise. As he poetically wrote, "What is to give light must endure burning." Your pain, the very thing you may curse, is not pointless. It is the very process that could be turning you into a source of warmth and light for a world that desperately needs it. When suffering strikes, the default human question is, why is this happening to me? It's a question that positions us as a passive victim of fate. Frankl taught us to flip the script entirely. The real, life-altering question is, what is life asking from me right now? This simple but profound shift moves you from a place of powerless victimhood to one of active authorship. It reclaims your agency. Even in the deepest darkness, you hold the pen. The power to choose your response is the seed of your ultimate liberation. This is not about denying the crushing reality of your pain. It is about discovering a deeper reality within yourself, a resilience, a grace, and a purpose you would never have found on an easier road. If you feel lost in your own suffering right now, please hear this with all your heart. There is a path through. The wisdom Frankl discovered is not just for historical figures or saints. It is a universal human truth, and it is for you. In the moments to come, we will explore exactly how to build that sacred bridge from pain to purpose, and how it can redefine not just your survival, but the entire landscape of your life. There is a turning point in every journey with pain. It's the moment you stop fighting the waves and instead begin to learn how to build a raft from the very wreckage around you. You don't ask for the storm to end. You ask for the strength and the wisdom to navigate it. This is where Viktor Frankl's search for meaning ceases to be a psychological theory and becomes your personal, practical map. He believed this search is the primary, most powerful motivation in a human life. Even in the bleakest of landscapes, we can find our way. The shift happens not when the pain miraculously disappears, but when you consciously decide to look for its meaning. That decision, in and of itself, is a revolutionary act of rebellion against despair. Frankl identified 3 primary paths to discovering meaning, avenues available to every single one of us, even when our heart is breaking. Let us walk down each of these paths together. First is the path of creation and achievement. This is about taking the formless, chaotic energy of your suffering and channeling it into something tangible. It is the path of turning your breakdown into a breakthrough. This doesn't mean you have to be an artist or a writer. Creation is a vast and beautiful territory. It's planting a garden, it's learning a new skill, it's mentoring a younger colleague, it's starting a business from nothing, it's fixing something that is broken, it's organizing your community. When you pour your energy into creating, you transform suffering from a static, crushing weight into dynamic, forward-moving fuel. You are making a powerful declaration to the universe that even from rubble, something new and beautiful can grow. Second, we have the path of connection and love. This is the ultimate lifeline. In our moments of deepest pain, we often feel intensely alone, but meaning is found in piercing that illusion of separation. It's found in reaching for connection, and just as importantly, in offering it. Frankl saw men in the camps share their last precious piece of bread. He saw them survive unimaginable horrors by holding on to the memory of a loved one's face. This is the sustaining power of love, and it extends beyond romance. It is the love for a child, a friend, a community. It's the profound connection you feel with nature, with an animal, or even with a beautiful piece of music. Love, in its purest form, is meaning itself. It reminds us that we are not an isolated island. We are part of a vast, interconnected continent of human experience. Your pain can become the very thing that deepens your empathy, allowing you to connect with others on a level you never could before. And third, there is the path of attitude. This is the final and most profound frontier. It is the path you must walk when all other paths are closed to you. When you cannot work, when you cannot create, when you are isolated and cannot connect, when all external freedoms have been stripped away, you are left with the ultimate, inalienable power, the power to choose how you bear your burden. Frankl saw people walk to their deaths with a dignity, a compassion, and an inner peace that was a final, silent, and breathtaking victory over their oppressors. Choosing to face unavoidable suffering with courage, with grace, and with integrity, rather than with bitterness or hate, is perhaps the deepest and most heroic source of meaning of all. This is what Frankl called tragic optimism, the ability to say yes to life in spite of everything. Most of us spend our lives building thicker and thicker walls to keep suffering out, but avoidance is a prison. It keeps you small, anxious, and fearful. When you finally summon the courage to turn and face your pain, you learn a stunning truth. You are bigger than it is. The pain might still be there, a quiet echo in the background, but it no longer owns you. It no longer gets to write your story. And when you stop running, something miraculous happens. You become more human. Frankl noted that those who have known great suffering often possess an incredible depth, a quiet wisdom. They don't offer you empty platitudes because they know how hollow they sound. Instead, they offer you their presence. They offer a listening ear. Your own scars become bridges that connect you to the heart of all humanity. They teach you patience, humility, and the grace to truly listen without judgment. No one asks for their trials, but everyone gets to choose their response. This was Frankl's ultimate truth, the freedom that no force on earth can ever take from you. The way you meet your pain today determines the person you become tomorrow. Do you let it harden you, or do you allow it to soften you? Do you let it close you off, or do you dare to let it break you open? Every time you choose hope over despair, courage over fear, love over bitterness, you are taking back your power. You are becoming the hero of your own story, not a character in a tragedy written by fate. Frankl passionately believed that no experience in life, especially not suffering, has to be wasted. It can be composted, transformed into the fertile soil from which wisdom, strength, and service can grow. So ask yourself these questions, not for an immediate answer, but to live with. What could this pain be preparing me for? Who might I be able to help one day simply because I have walked this difficult road? What hidden strengths are being born in me right now, in this darkness, that could never have been born in the light of comfort? The meaning you find doesn't have to be some grand, world-changing epic. Sometimes the most powerful meaning is found in the smallest of choices, the decision to get out of bed when despair is pulling you down, the choice to speak a kind word when your heart is full of anger, the choice to simply keep your heart open when everything in you wants to slam it shut. You cannot change the past, but you can always choose what you do with this present moment. Letting go of the life you planned is one of the hardest parts of this journey. The loss of a dream can be a pain all its own. But Frankl's work shows us that the end of one story is simply the start of another, one that can be richer, deeper, and more profound than you ever imagined. Pain is not the enemy of life. It is the fertile ground where a new, more authentic, and more meaningful life can finally begin to grow. There is a truth waiting for you on the other side of this. In the next few moments, we will explore how suffering itself can become your greatest guide, and why Viktor Frankl's wisdom is the very key to unlocking a life you never thought possible. There comes a moment in the long journey with pain when it starts to feel less like an alien burden and more like an intimate teacher. It doesn't mean you like the lesson. It doesn't mean you're grateful for the classroom, which may feel cold and dark. But you begin to understand on a cellular level that suffering is not just something that happened to you. It's something that is happening through you, shaping you, carving you. In that quiet, sacred understanding, your own inner voice gets stronger, clearer. You realize that while pain has certainly left its mark on you, it does not get the power to define you. Viktor Frankl taught that suffering, when met with conscious, honest awareness, is one of life's most potent and transformative mentors. Its lessons are rarely gentle. They are hard-won. Sometimes, suffering teaches you a profound patience, forcing you to sit in the uncomfortable darkness of uncertainty when all you crave is the simple relief of answers. Sometimes, it teaches a deep humility, showing you the stark and painful limits of your control. And sometimes, its greatest lesson is acceptance, not a passive resignation or defeat, but a wise and courageous surrender to what you cannot change so that you can finally pour your precious, finite energy into what you can. The world will try to sell you a simple narrative that your pain is bad luck, a curse, a sign of weakness. But Frankl's wisdom offers a richer, more complex, and ultimately more hopeful path. Your suffering can give you a clarity of vision, a depth of compassion, and a bedrock of understanding that a life of perpetual ease could never provide. It can forge you into a person whose very presence becomes a source of comfort and light for others. We usually want our pain to just go away. We beg and bargain for it to be silent. But what if, just for a moment, you listened to it with curiosity? What is your ache, your grief, your loneliness trying to tell you? Perhaps it's revealing what you truly value by showing you what its absence feels like. Perhaps it's a signpost showing you where in your life you need to forgive or where you need to draw a firmer boundary. Frankl understood that the meaning hidden within our struggles is not always a sudden lightning bolt of insight. More often, it reveals itself slowly, quietly, like the dawn emerging after a long and difficult night. By daring to ask the question, "What is this pain teaching me?" you begin to transform suffering from a cruel tormentor into a wise, if stern, guide. You might discover a hidden well of resilience you never knew you possessed. You might find a quiet purpose that was there all along, hidden in plain sight. When you finally give your pain a voice and listen to its story, you take your power back. Suffering may be a visitor in your house, but it does not have to become a permanent resident. The wisdom you gain from this difficult process is the foundation for a new life, a life built not on shifting sands of circumstance, but on the solid rock of purpose. Frankl showed us that meaning is not something you magically find, like a lost key. It is something you consciously and deliberately make. You make it in the small, courageous choices you enact every single day. So, how do you begin? Start by asking yourself, with the life I have right now, what kind of person do I want to be? You create meaning when you choose to love fiercely, even after loss. You create meaning when you share your unique gifts with the world, no matter how small you think they are. You create meaning when you allow your scars to become a map for other people to navigate their own darkness. The past has shaped you, yes, but it does not, and it cannot, decide your future. Every act of kindness you offer, every time you find the courage to try again after a fall, every moment of grace you extend to your own imperfect self, that is you in the sacred act of making meaning. And the wisdom you earn through your trials is not just for you. This is a crucial point. Frankl believed our ultimate and truest purpose is found in transcending ourselves to serve another. When you have the courage to share your story with all its messy, imperfect, and beautiful details, you are handing a candle to someone else who is lost in the dark. You are their living, breathing proof that hope is not a naive fantasy. If you have ever been saved by a kind word, a knowing glance, or a shared story from someone who has been there, you understand this incredible power. Your healing journey becomes a beacon. Your scars prove to the world that wounds can heal, that pain can be alchemized into purpose, and that brokenness can be rebuilt into something even stronger and more beautiful. Do not ever underestimate the power of your story. The world is aching for authenticity, for proof that we are not alone in our struggles. Frankl's most vital and enduring lesson is this: suffering is an inevitable part of the human condition, but misery is not. Misery is a choice. No matter what is taken from you, you always have the freedom to choose your response. Will you let your pain make you bitter, or will you allow it to make you better? Will you let it close your heart, or will you find the courage to let it break you open to new meaning, new compassion, new life? When you begin to see suffering not as the tragic end of your story, but as the fertile soil from which a new story can grow, everything changes. You begin to understand that nothing has to be wasted, not even your hardest, darkest days. You are no longer just a survivor. You become a creator of meaning. Frankl wrote it so perfectly. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. This is your power. This is your truth. This is your path forward. If you are listening to this right now, it means you are searching. It means you are ready for more than just getting by. You are ready to live a life imbued with meaning, purpose, and a resilient, battle-tested hope. So take a deep, slow breath and ask yourself these questions, not for an answer, but as a beginning. What is my suffering trying to teach me? How can I turn this pain into my purpose? And who out there might need to hear my story? Your next chapter does not begin when the pain ends. It begins the moment you decide to find meaning, right here, right now, in the middle of it all. Let this profound wisdom be your guide. Let your struggle be the start of someone else's hope. You have the freedom to choose. Even now. Especially now. If this message has helped you see your own journey in a new light, share your biggest lesson or a piece of your story in the comments below. Your words could be the lighthouse someone else is searching for tonight. Subscribe for more real guidance, because your journey to a life of deep meaning and healing is just getting started.